Good afternoon, welcome back to your tech news in 5 minutes or less. Making headlines this week, COVID-19 IT sales are more erratic than Julius Malema's Twitter popularity. Intel's 10th gen leaks and pricing information continues to flow like the rivers of ancient Babylon. NVIDIA's MX450 pops up to say hi and bye. And we get possibly the most confusing 1650 GPU from NVIDIA to date. Starting off with the impacts of the Rona situation on business, we see in general semiconductor environments are dropping off against demand, in fact, but we see a massive surge for monitors and webcams. We hope that this is for people who are setting up to work from home and not on their OnlyFans account. These are looking like they are reaction sales to people who need to work remotely. In other news around Rona, the Apple UK government Google coalition has now become a thing where they are developing an app to track your movements around if you have been infected. The if you have been infected is a bit of a problem for me, along with all the metadata that is going to create and shoot into the ether. It just doesn't seem like a good idea, to be honest, the power that creates. I think we had a really good example of this in Batman. Moving on to Intel 10th gen news though, we have a lot more pricing information as the retailers continue to underestimate the denizen of the internet's need for an Intel comeback and information on their product. We see the 10900, 10700K pricing coming through, and honestly it doesn't look that good. The non-K 10900 will set you back probably 8,000 Rand right now. Well, 9,000 Rand plus tax, you're probably looking at close to 10k. And that's really close to 3900X territory, and you're dropping 2 cores and 4 threads. So on multi-threading, it does look like they are going to be behind from the outset. And it's the same when we look at the 10700K. While it is clocked at 5.1 GHz boost, that is only a boost clock and not an all-core clock. So with some overclocking, hopefully cooling, it'll be able to get there. But on the other hand, then they've been spotted running 80 to 90 degrees and well over 200 watts for them to be able to get to those clock speeds. So it's actually a bit of a role reversal. AMD's become the better cooling, more efficient chip as opposed to the Intel. While the AMD doesn't overclock nearly as well, as I've even seen with our 9600K of test bench, the implications for Intel is that their new product is really not that strong, and we could be seeing AMD's 4000 series desktops coming out as early as September. Moving on to AMD, we saw a slew of news around their 4000 series chips. The tiers in which they are working with their H series chips will also have an HS series, and that S series will be hyper efficient and use 10 watts lower than even their H series, which we've seen in tests can get up to 10 hours worth of continuous video playback and more. And then with an extra 10 watts per hour, it's probably going to extend up to about a 13-14 hour. But these chips are still coming in 8-core 16-thread configurations as well. So you will have power and efficiency all wrapped into one product. These chips will also ship with Vega cores in quadruplets, so they should even be able to do some live gaming, which is really good news for those that are looking at these products for design on the go. It's not going to do 3D, mind you, that's a whole nother kettle of fish. That stuff will break your PC in half and send it back crying most of the time. So I don't think it's quite going to reach that level. But there is also a 4900U, which hasn't even been announced on the product roadmap, which is showing up on benchmarks. So AMD is playing this one very close to chest, because I genuinely think this is going to be the most disruptive, at least, series of chips that they've ever produced. And as I mentioned earlier, the AMDs have spilled the beans, or the board partners and AMD have sort of spilled the beans on the release for September for their 4000 series desktop chips, which, if they're structured anything like these are, is just going to be even more crazy for poor old Intel. In some confusing news from NVIDIA, there has been a 1650 refresh, not a super, mind you, just a normal 1650, now with GDDR6 memory to make the mid-range cards even more exasperatingly broad. I just don't understand what they're doing there. But anyway, the MX450 did also crop up, which is going to be their next major mobile or entry-level mobile chip with GDDR6 memory. Hopefully it is going to be better than a built-in Vega. Lastly, in gaming news, we saw Google Stadia give 2 weeks free on their platform, which is pretty cool, or 2 months free at least. So if you want to have some very delayed gaming, you guys can go and check that out. Streaming gaming is not a thing yet, but hey, they're trying. COD Warzone attracted over 50 million players. Can't help but feel that the lockdown helped to that end, but they have reached over 50 million players, which is also pretty impressive. Steam updated its top 10 game list with Resident Evil, Mountain Blade 2 and Doom all pretty much running out the top spots, and then very impressively GTA 5 still punching in there. Look, this is one of the best selling games of all time, but I really didn't think it would still be on the Steam top 10. Guys, you gotta, Cops and Robbers is cool and all, but we gotta move past that. And this is all taking place 7 years. 7 years after its initial release. That's some shelf life if I've ever seen it. You ain't gonna see no milk in the shop for 7 years, that's for sure. Unfortunately though, that is all we have time for today. So keep your lives ticking and your games wrecking. We'll see you next time.